CA Productions invites you to join us for Coastal Connections with Courtney. This new and exciting television program is designed to showcase wonderful things taking place in South Mississippi. Join Courtney Anderson as she personally takes you on a journey all along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. You'll meet many local leaders, business owners, and interesting people who make a positive difference in these communities. Coastal Connections with Courtney will also showcase a wide variety of great places to eat, shop, and explore. There's so much to see in South Mississippi, so come along for the ride and enjoy Coastal Connections with Courtney.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Coastal Connections with Courtney this week. Here we are in downtown Biloxi, Mississippi. We get the honor to meet with Mayor FoFo Gilich. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Coastal Connections with Courtney. I'm so honored today and very, very humbled to be in downtown Biloxi, getting to visit and know on a personal level, as well as an educational level, our Mayor of Biloxi, Mississippi.
Well, thank you, Courtney. I'm honored to be here. I'm excited to be here, too, with you.
Well, I appreciate it. This is a really great opportunity for Coastal Connections with Courtney, and I would love to get to know you, hear what a day would be like, being the mayor of Biloxi, Mississippi. Ever since you've come on board, the development is booming, the coast is growing, and I would love to hear what all you've added here to the coast.
Well, I don't think you hit 3 or 4 hours, but we could be here 3 or 4 hours. Just got a few minutes. But, it's just great to be, just a good position to really, impact the future of your hometown. And, it's nonstop. It's if you follow me around, you won't get bored. I can tell you it would be a surprise if there wasn't a surprise. But that's, that's part of my makeup is to be able to pivot and do the things that you need to be as a mayor to do a really good job.
And how long, Mayor, have you been doing this?
Since 2015 is when I became mayor. In a special election, and there were 10 people, and then elected 2 times since then. And day by day, we keep moving it forward, and it's truly exciting for me.
And it's nonstop. I don't believe I've ever been to an event or a community organization, anything, without seeing you, your lovely wife, supporting you. I mean, you make sure to make everyone feel welcome. Doesn't matter who you are. You're so nice and friendly. Well,
that's the way to be. I think, our families, and it's just part of the way you live down here, and that's what's exciting. And people come from out of the state, even out of the country, they see that, hey, this is a different deal. This is,
Absolutely.
the real honest and, way to live. And you can be happy and not, stress yourself. And hey, we are what we are. Biloxi is Biloxi. And that's what's so great about, being mayor.
And I love, that people are talking about the secret coast, which I think, it's starting to get more, people are knowing and hearing about it as we grow, but it's the Southern hospitality. The people are so wonderful. Most people, they're like, that's the Mayor of Biloxi, are a little intimidated. You, on the other hand, you hug people, you make everybody feel so welcome, as well as contributing to the growth of the coast and our lifestyles.
Well, I'm happy to do that, it's just a great thrill for me, like I said, the stress is part of my deal. I can do the pivots that need to be done. And there's a lot of things have happened, since 2015. We've done a lot of good things. The growth is certainly there. We've had a pandemic. We had, a lot of issues that we actually plugged through. And we're on the upswing right now.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And you've done a lot of different things. What all have you contributed throughout this long term that you've been doing this?
Well, since 15, that's about 7 years. There's a lot of things have been talked about for years, like the new main gate at Keesler. That was a big deal, and it was talked about. There were a lot of challenges. Working with our partners at Keesler. That's 50,000 lives or so related to the success of Keesler Air Force Base, where I always say it's the best Air Force base in the country.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think they're appreciative of what we're able to do and together, and I explain it. I don't know if you know Fred Hayes was a Biloxi and just made 89 years old. And if you could see the statue we just dedicated to him, Apollo 13, you know, it was some cool things with him. But Fred really hit the button in some of his speeches, and I use it all the time too. Biloxi, you know, up until 1941 was like 15,000 people population. Now, at that point in time, we had tourism and shrimp and oysters. That was the village. And you know, tourism is not anything new for us.
Right.
And so it was there too. But 1941 came along, and the population jumped almost to 100,000 people overnight. And we've got some pictures I'll show you. Maybe we can take some still shots. But, you know, 100,000 people mostly stayed in barracks and tents on Keesler. And on weekends, on paydays, they especially came to downtown Biloxi. You know, this was, 1699 is when we were founded. So downtown Biloxi's been here a long time. But bottom line, so you got 100,000 people looking at any kind of and every kind of entertainment you could imagine on Howard Avenue. And Fred tells the story about he learned geometry in watching some of these pool games at the Union Bar. Because
that's interesting.
Really, he said, all these hustlers, these pool hustlers, would come from Texas to Florida to actually gamble and take the money from the soldiers on payday. But he said, he really understood geometry from looking at the pool games and just had every flavor of entertainment, and it's sort of a natural. So here we are years later, and we're in the middle, of gaming, which is, we're the top 5 of the country in just a little Biloxi, Mississippi. And now we're right at 50,000 people. But we do have 4.2 million visitors a year.
Yeah.
So you do the arithmetic. We've got 7,000 hotel rooms, so it's truly exciting to say, hey, this is not just a town of 50,000.
Right.
This is a safe, friendly, and beautiful. This is a place you want to be, and that's the attraction, I think. People are comfortable. People want to come here.
Absolutely. And I feel like, there's been so much talk of development, and it's been going on for a while, but all of a sudden in the past years, it's like, boom, it's happening.
It is.
It's manifesting. The people that had those visions, it is actually happening right in front of us.
The stresses of the country we've been through the last 2 years, with everything that's happening, and we're going through some stress right now. But I'm confident that, with the inflation and the oil, we just finished a record year. And since gaming, 1992, 2021 was the record year. In the middle of this thing, the last 2.5 years, the pandemic, we had record numbers, record visitation. And so it's extremely exciting to be in the position I am, to at least impact and focus on where we need to be as a community. Sure. My theme is safe, friendly, and beautiful. And
that you nailed it. And it's also cool that you've been the mayor through the pandemic. It's not all been just growth and development. It's cool like, it is like a big deal. You brought us out of all the things that we've struggled with as a community.
Well, a lot comes from your families and that you grew up with. So you understand, you got to do what you got to do. You got to be able to pivot, and that's what I've learned. We can handle whatever comes your way, and that's a big thing for me. So hey, whatever comes through that door, whatever we got to deal with, we will deal with.
Yeah, and you do.
Yeah, but I do have a good time too. So.
You have so much fun, and that's what I was asking. I was like, a lot of people, you have a beautiful, big family. Everybody knows the Gilich family, and I'm like, some people are like, okay, we turn off work when the husband comes home, we eat dinner. There's no turning it off with the mayor.
No, my wife tells the story too. Says, this job's going to kill me, not you. So.
And she's so low. She's just a doll.
She rolls with the punches that I attract. So
yes,
it's still great.
And listen, this is beautiful. Is this the room that you spend the most time
on
in?
Tuesdays,
would you say?
And some of these meetings we do have a gathering, but Tuesdays we meet 3 times a month on Tuesdays. The first week of the first Tuesday of every month is a nighttime meeting, so we get a lot more of the people who can get to it from work, and all different zoning or different rates or like water rates or sewer or garbage comes up, and people will be here and express at that little table right over there their public opinions. They can talk 3 minutes on anything, and usually they do. So, but it's part of the deal. So 3 times a month we have a public forum, so that you can address anything that is being proposed or some of the plans.
And Mayor, you have a city council. How important is that y'all work very closely together?
Yeah, we do. It's a strong mayor form of government, council form of government. Each of the 7 wards have about 4,000 folks that they represent,
right.
as far as voting. Maybe that's more, 7,000 maybe, that's what it is. 7 times, 49,000. Just do the arithmetic in my head.
Yeah, I'm trying to follow.
Yeah. So, they're geographically, designated, and they represent, those folks, and they'll all come up with, things that they need to get done, a road or a park or some of these facilities, and we interact with each one of them. Of course, you have, you have to balance the revenues and expenses, and just like anything, it's just a pure business approach to doing things, and to do what you need to do long term, short term, and what in an emergency. Of course, we're blessed with a great police department and a great fire department, and public works too. So we try to make sure we've got 600 or so employees, and want to make sure that they want to come to work every day. And coming from my business background, the value of people who are engaged and want to work, and they make you profitable, and you make you successful. And so that's a part of the real challenge, that we try to balance those things and with the future in mind.
Well, it's such an honorable position, and it takes somebody like you. You make such important decisions, but you also have to be able to listen with an open mind to people that might have totally different personalities and ideas.
Oh, they do.
I know. I think about that when I see y'all.
We were talking a little bit earlier about the personalities and just working with folks.
Sure.
In 2015, there was I won the special election. There was 10 people in the race, and during the course of that, they had interviewed, the Sun Herald interviewed every one of the candidates, and they kind of developed their positions. But anyway, Stan Tyner, who was the publisher of the Sun Herald at the time, he asked me a question. He said, look, if you, FoFo, if you're fortunate enough to become mayor, said, you will have beaten 4 of the city council.
Yes.
So do you envision
right.
having any issues with working with those, with 7 people or the 4 that you just beaten? And I said, Stan, this was 2015. I said, I've been president of the Savonia Lodge since 2003, okay? I said, we have down there, and they're very vocal, and they like to discuss things. You're being kind. So I said, we have 300 members and 600 opinions. So working with 7 people,
you'll be just fine.
It's not going to be a problem, I can assure you.
Exactly.
So it worked out well.
Well, listen, Mayor, we're going to take a quick break.
Sure.
Now, when I get back, I would like to get to know. I know you've got some really great hobbies and fun things that you do on top of all the other responsibilities.
Sure, yeah.
So thank you for coming and opening up, and we will be right back.
Visit the Gulf Coast's newest casino.
Come in today and experience the beautiful smoke-free Beachview Casino.
Pick your game. We have your favorite slots and table games and a sports book.
Enjoy incredible views while you dine at one of our many restaurants.
And grab a drink while you enjoy live entertainment every weekend in the heart of the action.
The Gulf Coast's newest, the smoke-free Beachview Casino Resort, Gulfport.
Thank you for calling J. Allen Toyota Service.
This is what happens when you set an appointment at J. Allen Toyota Service. We will order the part right then, so it'll be here when your appointment comes. Our greeter staff will greet you quickly and friendly and top off your fluids before your car even leaves the drive. Then your car will go to one of our 6 two-man express teams or one of our 10 certified technicians so they can get you back on the road safely and quickly. This is service the way it should be at J. Allen Toyota Service.
I Experience Mazda now at Bujah Select Mazda in Gulfport. We have select new Mazda inventory on the lot now. Mazda, CX-9, CX-5, CX-30, and Miata. Visit us today on Airport Road in Gulfport.
Are a beacon of healing, resolute and consistent, determined. We are problem solvers, driven to overcoming obstacles, unshakable. We are prepared, capable, experienced, unbeatable. We are a network of people providing care throughout your lifetime. We are believers in the healing power of compassion. We are Memorial.
So Mayor, we're back from the break, and I know I was like, I want to hear more about you and your hobbies, but I found one of your friends was telling me all about it, and I just think it's pretty awesome that our mayor started off at a talented young age as a musician right here on the coast.
Well, I wouldn't say started off, but I picked up as,
Well, not started off at 15 years old.
Yeah, I was in the 10th grade, and that was at WLOX, and all our, we all lived blocks from each other, and we figured out we could put some, do some music together. Nobody really, except the two horn players, they had some formal training as far as music, but I couldn't read music, but I could pick it up, and I still do.
Right.
It's like therapy to me. Every night when I get around a piano, if I run across a piano, I need to play a song.
I actually had a lot of people be like, how cool would the story be if you actually got in play, and we're gonna do that next time.
Well, Billy and I, Billy Hughes, we played in Cuba, we played in South America, and we play all over the place when we get a chance to get together. We did something at the MML, so, he's talented. He can sing and play the drums and write and so forth, but I just, I played with him on a number of occasions. So
but you just pick it up. Like, that's what a musician does.
Yeah, and especially the rock and roll, from the 60s when I grew up, and it's not very complicated music, and so it was okay for me to to learn a little bit, and I still listen and try to pick up the music. It's just like it's therapy to me.
Absolutely, it's a wonderful, healthy outlet. And I was joking. I said started out. But tell me, when you were younger, how did you start out? You have this artistic, creative side. You have this big personality.
Well, our families grew up in the grocery business, and then also in the seafood. My grandfather, right where the Golden Nugget is, that was Seacoast Packing Company. And one of my first paying job, was, actually I was a can catcher. When shrimp was put into a can was topped, and you take the can and then put it in a rack to get pressure cooked. And all of us cousins and kids would be $1.35 an hour. I joke a lot of times I was making $1.35 an hour then, so that's what I'm making now, $1.35 an hour when you look at it. But anyway, that was the first job, and growing up with my parents in the Foodland supermarket, there was jobs you did.
How old were you then?
Well, I was 12 or 13 years old when I was a can catcher.
I love that.
But, all of us cousins, we all worked. We were taught to work, and parents and grandparents all worked, and they worked, forever. And so you learn that, you've got to write things,
I like hearing people, in your position, because you started off being a hard worker. It might not be, and, because sometimes you just look and see these people.
Well, it's almost not like work to me, but it's work. I mean, you got to pay attention, and I've always been part of that. Then, I went off. Education was always stressed, in our family. So I went to University of Houston and got a mathematics degree, and stayed and worked at a controlled data corporation. Turns out to be the first supercomputer manufacturer in the world, and I was actually using a supercomputer to do my homework at the University of Houston in mathematics, and anyway, I stayed and worked with them. We got to the Space Center in Building 35, was in procedure simulation. Again, I was a systems programmer there, and, computer programmer. And then I went to, and Rachel, my oldest child, was born in Houston, and in 1972, we moved back home. I said, she's got to experience the childhood. Nobody had a better childhood than I did, or my family.
That's a big jump. Houston coming to Mississippi.
We came to Houston and worked at Ingalls. I was one of 6 scientific and technical programmers at Ingalls at the time. That was, the West Bank was just, there were 20-something thousand employees, but I was one of a handful of scientific programmers using the computer to build these ships. The 25 ship DDZ-963 class and some of the big ships. Right now, that shipyard produces 80% of the warships in the country. So I was very fortunate to get into that part of the deal. And long story short, I was able to go out and start a software business, on my own in 1983, and and doing a lot of things across the country. So the business background and the operational things that I did to do day by day as mayor is not a great challenge, but I write programs every day. I'm a coder.
It all makes sense.
Yeah,
your stepping stones. Have you ever thought back then, I'm going to be the mayor, I'm going to be the politician?
I really didn't. My wife says she did.
You have a personality though, it's contagious.
Well,
and smart.
Again, in Savonia Lodge, my grandparents, this Savonia Lodge was a big part of who I am, because this was an organization for primarily immigrants that came in 1903, 1904, and they couldn't speak English, but they made their way through life. And there's a lot of successful Croatians, and a lot of the lodge itself, the Savonia Lodge, it's got a great reputation, and I was president of that, like I said, for 15 years or so over the course of time. And you learned, to be a leader, and I think that's helped me.
Yes. And do you feel you're very happy now and just love it, every minute of it?
Yeah, I can't say I'm not.
I love hearing you talk about it, and I know you've had a lot of developments while you've been here with the pavement of the roads, the scenic, on the beach walks.
Yeah.
I know you're proud of that.
We're doing some cool things with the boardwalks and trying to keep the sand on the beach. And I think your dad, we worked together on a project about this time in October, trying to do the things that, to kind of control, what needs to be done. And you just need to put a plan together and work out. Plans always change.
Right.
I think, what do they say? Mike Tyson says, plans are good till you get punched in the face.
Isn't that the truth?
So that's,
but then you get a solution.
That's it,
and that's the people like you, you're like,
I've been punched before, so.
I'm sure. I know. So when you are you're doing this, you're running the city, all of these wonderful things.
I'm not talking too fast, am I?
And I'm sure I am. But listen, Mayor,
I love talking fast. So
me too. Your energy. I'm dying to talk, and then I'm listening. But are you able to travel with your beautiful family, or do you have to stay put a lot?
We have been for the last few years, and with the pandemic and a lot of craziness going on, we tried to get to the U.S. Conference for Mayors in Reno, but we weren't successful in getting there for the right time. But we did last week go to Cape Canaveral to watch Serena and I drove down there, and we were in the stands ready for that rocket to go up, and they canceled it. So, but it was we went, we were with about 2 busloads of folks from the Stennis Space Center and the NASA folks, as well as the General Dynamics Information Technology Group and Rocketdyne Teledyne, people who made the motors. So it was a great experience. Even though we didn't see it launch, it was just a beautiful sight. We were about 3 miles away, almost, I can't tell you, but from here to the boat ride away from the site. But we were both excited, but, it was kind of stressful to stay in the stands for about 4 or 5 hours waiting for this thing to go on. But it was good. No,
that's a great
love to travel, whenever we get the opportunity.
Absolutely. And do you see the venues and the restaurants, do you see us continuing to grow people are wanting to make it permanent here in Biloxi.
I'll tell you, the excitement in downtown, as I mentioned, it was the entertainment along the coast, the Howard Avenue. Right now, you look at Lee Young, he's got $50 million worth of projects going on with condos going down there. And, I think the Ground Zero, we had Irma Thomas the other day. It was jam-packed, and she's just like she was in the 60s.
Oh, really?
And it was a great great event. No, it's happening, and you know.
And there's so much up your sleeve, I'm sure we don't know about.
We did a few years ago. People don't understand what we did. You know, I can show you some pictures of what Howard Avenue used to look like. And the big thing, urban renewal kind of put some, you know, some twists and turns. They were trying to make it a mall-like situation. They closed down the street and put some things. But when I came to office, I said, we're going to open that card up to two-way traffic. And we actually put the bricks back in place. Hand-laid bricks is what I call it, a dance floor now. So, and those things are coming to pass now. So you're going to see people living, playing, you know, and enjoying themselves downtown.
Oh, good.
So
and I love downtown Biloxi. And the thing about the coast is, like Gulfport, it's a totally different feel. Then you come to Biloxi, it's just exciting. Then you go to Ocean Springs, St. Louis.
We got our niche. You know, you've got the casinos, of course, Boulder Vibes,
yeah, of course,
Hard Rock, and all kind of tying together. So I envision some very cool things in the future for that part of the deal, as well as, you know, we got a ballpark and we've got another venues cooking, you know, so like I said, I look forward to every day and seeing what's, you know.
And you really do. And you know, we're almost out of time, and I'm going to come, you know, continue following you, because my
we'll do
show,
it again. We'll do it again.
Is focusing a lot on the development and the people that are the go-getters that are making it happen. But it always boils down to me. I love hearing about how you started working when you were younger, and I know you're very involved in the church. You have to have a deep faith to be such a leader for such a good community. Yeah,
it is, and you just got to feel, hey, you know, something goes your way, you know, the good Lord will give you a focus to work through it.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
I know, I always call them God winks. I know. Well, Mayor, what will you do after this? So you're wrapping up. You said I got to catch you for 30 minutes, but we got to talk before and after.
Well, I just got one more event tonight at 6 o'clock. We've got a city award meeting at the Snyder Center, so I'll do that, and then.
And Serena will be there.
She's kind of doing her Savonian Ladies Auxiliary. They're going on a trip tomorrow to Charleston, so she's getting ready for that. And I got to drop her off at the Savonian Lodge at 6 o'clock in the morning. So. Anyway, it'll be a full day tonight.
You've got a very fun life, and you're a great person. I appreciate your leadership.
Well, I appreciate you.
The service, your safety, everybody that, you know, contributes to the Mississippi Gulf.
Well, we thank you. I appreciate it. And just come back anytime you want.
I will. It's been a pleasure, Mayor.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another Sunday of Coastal Connections with Courtney.
Experience Mazda now at Butch Select Mazda in Gulfport. We have select new Mazda inventory on the lot now. Mazda CX-9, CX-5, CX-30, and Miata. Visit us today on Airport Road in Gulfport.